well-being and financial wellness. So thank you everybody for joining in. I know it's a public holiday in Nigeria. Happy Eid to all my Muslim friends and brothers. Hopefully this is going to be a great use of all of our time. It shouldn't take too long. The program should last probably an hour and 30 minutes at most. Shouldn't really drag for too long. But it should be an interactive session. So, I would like to hear feedback. We'd like to see feedback in the chat section. Please also send the link to your friends. We think it would be beneficial, not just for everyone present here, but for your friends and family. Please share the link. And happy deliberations. We just hope you people benefit and enjoy the program as much as we, enjoyed planning it. So thank you, everyone.
And we're going to kick it over to our able and fantastic moderator. Chidima, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. So good to be here. Happy holidays. Happy Eid, wherever you are. So like Tomi and Desayo has said, we have a star-studded panel today. We very varying backgrounds. We have core finance guys. We have an actress. We have a fintech bro. So today we'll be asking them all the questions, that you have around investing in the stock market. But just before I start with, panel intros, I just want to confirm that, everyone can hear me clearly. We have very stable internet connection as well. Okay, great. Okay, awesome. Everyone can hear me. All right, cool. So today we have a panel of about six speakers. So I'll just give a brief intro of everybody, and then we can just take it from there. So I'll be starting with Adedoyin Allen. Adedoyin Allen. Let me just pull up her her bio here so that I'm saying the correct thing. Awesome. Yeah. So she's the current MD of AfriInvest Securities Limited. She's also a seasoned finance professional with 10 years of experience in the Nigeria capital markets. She's a member of a couple of organizations, from the Institute of Stockbrokers, Institute of Securities and Investments in the UK, and also she's also an authorized dealing clerk of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So she would be sharing from her wealth of experience, with us today. We also have Bisola Ayola. I think everyone knows her. She's an actor and media personality, and she's also a shrewd investor, surprisingly. So really looking forward to, to hear her perspective today as well. We also have, I think we have Victor, but I don't think he's here yet, so I'll just skip for now. We also have Ayodele Onawumi. He's the MD of FMDQ Clear Limited. He also serves on various boards as a non-exec director. He has, lots of years of experience, in trading, corporate and banking, pension, and also financial market consulting. He has worked in a couple of companies, prior to now, including Access Bank and Chapel Hill Denham Group. So, he'll also be sharing his experience as well on investing. And I think finally we have, so we have Ellie Olutimei. She's the MD of Cardinal Stone Securities. She has over 14 years of experience in investment management, advisory, product development as well. She has worked, at Investment One. She has also worked at Kakawa Asset Management, in different capacities. She's a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers, and she's also a member of the Chartered Institute of Securities and Investment. So she will also be speaking to us today. And then we have Babajide Asegbelu. Excuse me. He's the head of fintech at FSDH MB, Merchant Bank. He's a strong believer in in the power that is available to use through technology and and just the digital age. He's always looking to talk about how tech can change the game, both in finance and in other sectors. So today we'll be hearing from him as well. For young people that are tech savvy, how they can invest, in leveraging tech platforms as well. And then we have Victor Asemota. He's a co-founder of Swifter. He's a technology entrepreneur and investor. He sits on multiple boards, and he's also an advisor to leading fintechs and investment firms across Africa. So he would also be sharing from his wealth of experience with us today. So welcome again to all our panelists, and thank you for taking the time out to come speak to us today. I think I've gone through everyone. Awesome. So if we just, move into our session. So just as a primer, so this will run for about 60 minutes, and then we'll have 20 minutes for Q&A, from the audience. So I'll just pick a panelist to answer, a question, and then we'll just go around. So I think I'll start with Ellie Olutsime. What is your number one rule on investing in the stock market? Because today we have lots of advice, online. It's almost like there's information overload. So, to you, what would you say like is your number one advice, for a beginner that wants to start investing in the stock market?
Thank you very much, Chidima. I think the very first thing will first of all be research, right? If you're a beginner, you want to first of all make sure that you empower yourself one way or the other. I know everybody's investing now, or rather a lot of people are investing now because there's just that fear of missing out. It's becoming a bit trendy to say, I own Amazon stocks, I own, Tesla stocks, but you just want to get a sense of what is that underlying asset you're investing in. Why am I investing, right? So I think that first part of call will be research, trying to understand what you're investing, why are you investing, what's the objective of you investing in the first place, right? Are you investing in the long term? Are you investing in the short term? If you don't know the reason why you're doing something, right, any other thing can come up, right? Just in terms of knowing why exactly are you doing what you're doing. And if you want to start as a beginner, the first thing you want to do is try to empower yourself. If you think you don't know so much, then you can, employ the services of an investment advisor to guide you, to handhold you.
Yes, thanks for that. Okay, so if you move on to Ayodele, to you as well, what would you say would be your number one rule for, a beginner that wants to invest in the stock market?
Thanks, Chidima. I would say in addition to what Elliot said, very critical, you need to understand the cash flows. Where is this company supposed to be? The purpose of investing anyway is to get returns. So where you don't take time out, and which is what has been referred to as research, to understand what are the drivers of value in this company. If it's the fear of missing out that is your driver, trust me, at some point you will miss the bus. So I think it's important to take time out and understand where the cash flows are for the company and what your own strategy would be. Are you there long term, or do you want to just get in and get out at some point in time?
Okay, no, I think I agree with that, as well, because people actually need to know, how they are investing. So long term, short term, medium term, as that would also, determine what they should invest in. Okay, so if you move to Adedoyi Allen, in your view as well, how early should people start investing? Because sometimes people feel like you need to be older to invest in the stock market, or you need to have a certain level of income. So is there an age limit, or how early should people start thinking of growing their wealth through investing?
All right, thanks, Chidima. I would say the best time to invest is now. There's no age limit to investing. Even for a newborn, you can start securing their future by investing. So you also don't have to wait till you start earning big money. I've heard people say, my salary is small, it's not even enough to feed. But it's understandable. It's what you start now when you're earning small that you get used to, and it will help you when you start earning big. So just start now. Put a particular portion of your, even if it's a gift, you can put a particular amount. There's nothing too small. Even as low as 500, 1,000 naira, you can put in investment. So the best time to start investing is now. If you've not started, just ensure you start small but regular. Over time, you would see your investment build up, and I'm sure you'll be encouraged to do more.
Thanks for that.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I think there's a bit of a glitch, but I can hear you. Okay. Yes. Okay. Great. Thanks for that. So you said that basically people should start now. Don't wait until you have X amount of money. Just start today and start what you have. and then grow that habit over time. Awesome. So if we want to move to like, because I feel like people talk about, how they invest, but then people don't also share like their losses and their mistakes, and it's almost like, like it's always rosy and you just invest and then you make, almost 100x your money in one day. So if I start from Bisola, could you, just tell us what are the biggest mistakes that you've made, in your investing journey so far, and how would you recommend our listeners, what to do to avoid that? You're muted, Bisola.
Yeah, sorry about that. So I would say hello to everybody, to all the professionals in the house. Yes, mistakes that I have made. I think I fell for one of these Ponzi schemes, they call it. I just wanted to make quick money. They say pay this one, you get triple in less than 1 month. So it was greed. I was motivated by greed at the time, and that's one major mistake. I've learned over time to always think long-term as opposed to short-term and quick fixes. Quick fixes never really, for anything in life, it never really works. So like Ellie said about doing your research and stuff, for me, when I was trying to research how I should start investing, it was a lot. It was a lot to take in. I'm like, please, I'm in entertainment. Why is seeing all the numbers and the big words, bearish, bullish? I don't know anything about it. So I have a friend of mine, Ibukun, she's into she's 10-minute financial guide, and she kind of broke it down really easy. She introduced me to Trove. And I was like, oh, really? And that was how, so every time there's an investment to make, we pay for her service, actually. So she just hits us up, all the ladies on the group. Okay, I think we should buy this. She tells us what stocks to buy and stuff. And that has really helped me. So I'm still learning. But what I do know now is that I would never and should never be motivated by greed. It's a big mistake when you hear anything quick fix, sharp money to be made. They say bring 5,000, you make 30,000 in 6 days, run from it. They're just going to chop your money. And even if it works the first time, what they're doing is luring you in. And by the time you start dropping in large sums of money, boom, it's all gone. So yeah. Big mistake, don't be motivated by greed. Think long-term. There are risks. You may lose some money when buying stock, but if you look at the bigger picture and you see that tiny drops of water make a mighty ocean, you'll find that investing is actually fun and is good in the long run.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for that. Yeah, thanks for that. I feel like people actually need to tweet that, don't let greed be your motivator, always think long-term. If it's too good to be true, it probably is, So, always think about, the long-term and not just like, immediate returns. Thank you for that. Very insightful. So if you move on to Victor, so like we all know that, aside being a stock investor, you're also a well-known angel investor as well, right? So in your investment journey across stocks, VC, as a whole, what would you say have been like your biggest mistake so far, and how can people avoid that?
Thank you very much, Chidima. So it's good that you actually mentioned private markets, because everybody has been people have been talking about public markets largely. Okay. For me, there are different types of public markets and there are different types of private markets. Okay. And early on in my life, I invested in the local public markets and I made a huge loss, and that just put me off totally. What people like Trove are now doing is actually allowing you to invest globally, which is a very, very good thing. If we had that a long time ago, that would have been quite helpful. I've made a lot of money from private markets, but there's a risk when you're investing privately. You tie in your money and there's really no liquidity for a while, and it's very, very high risk. For public markets, I was watching a podcast this morning, all in podcast. One of my best investors, Jamal, he made a point that even all of their investments in private markets, the public markets, the S&P 500 outperforms a lot of LP investment in private markets. A lot of people don't admit that publicly. So if you had actually just put that money in the S&P 500 for 20 years, you would have had better compounding, better results than what they did. I think his entire fund has returned 2x in 16 years. So, so sometimes people look at this, okay, yeah, I made $1 billion. But if he had put that, you made 1 billion on 1 billion. But if you had put that 1 billion in the S&P, it would have actually compounded a whole lot longer. So for me, I think if I had stuck with, if I had done a lot more of public markets much earlier in my life, and if I had done it in the right markets, maybe I would have made a whole lot more. But I can't complain. I'm happy. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a very interesting take to hear a VC investor admit that. That's actually very interesting. I mean, I think like just having a blend, is good. So diversify, across public and private markets, so that whichever one blows, you're good. But thanks for that. Okay, so Babajide, so I mean, you're like a fintech, a fintech guy, you lead, a fintech firm. So to you as well, what would you say, is the biggest mistake that you have made so far and in your journey? And also as well, what has been your biggest win, if there has been one? Encourage the people.
So what I would say is my biggest mistake really when it comes to investments generally was I didn't start investing early enough. So at the beginning of my career, I would say that once I am 3 years as a banker or 4 years as a banker, I would invest. So the first year will go, the second year will go, and what I'll see is that I've entirely spent all my funds on either buying assets that are depreciating or either dashing bulk of my money out to friends and family and relatives, and at the end of the day, I would be left with this circle of waiting for my salary. So I'd made that mistake for so long until it dawned on me that I didn't have to earn so much money, to start investing. So I met a colleague then that, he would open up an Excel sheet and he would show me how much inflow comes in, how much he is dedicating to savings, how much is dedicating to investment, as small as 4,000, 5,000, 10,000, and instead of investing that, I would just rather use that money to eat in Kwabi. So I was investing in my stomach rather than in the future. So that was a deep lesson for me, really, and it aligns with what Adedoyin said, that you can start investing as little as possible. I was also afraid, so the fear of the unknown, because I started my career at the time when there was crisis in the stock exchange, so the Nigerian Stock Exchange had a lot of challenges then, so that really, pulled me off, but in hindsight, I would have said I should have started early, even also started out maybe as an angel investor, because I had met startups at very early stages that I could have also put my stipend into them, and I've seen a lot of them doing well now. I think biggest wins really would be, being able to, eventually benefit from the exits of some startups that I was coerced into investing in. So I said coerced because it's more of my friends encouraging me that let's do this. So baseline is let young people with the required research, they should start investing early. It's not until they start earning the biggest buck that they should start investing. They should start investing early, get support of investment analysts, people that have gone ahead that can guide them. That will take away the fear. So that's where it is now. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that. Okay. So people, are always very typically, most times they're, focused on, ROI, how, what is the return on an investment? And sometimes, focusing too much on that can actually derail you. So if you go back to Elile, apologies. So it's actually not Ellie, it's actually Elile. So everyone, please take note. So yeah. So if we come back to you, in your opinion, how do you think what should people focus on in building a more robust and diversified portfolio, aside just focusing so much on the ROI that is promised to them on their investment?
Okay, thank you very much, Chidima. My name is actually Elile. It's Elile. Thank you. No problem. So I think a good place to start from first is to say, why exactly are we investing, right? That's a good place to start from. We're probably investing because we want to save up money, because we want to buy a house one day, want to go to one school, maybe an Ivy League school, wherever, right? Just to meet some goals. And so we invest because we are trying to meet up a financial goal. Another good reason why we say we probably invest is we all know life happens, right? And so you want to be able to be well positioned when life happens. Maybe a third reason I would say is that speaks to return on investment is we know that 100,000 naira 10 years ago and 100,000 naira today will not buy the same thing, right? If not for anything, we all see prices of eggs, prices of different things and how prices have gone up. So you want to be able to outperform inflation. You want to be able to beat inflation so that 100,000 naira you saved 10 years ago is able to buy you, is able to catch up with where inflation is. So looking at that, you find out that even return on investment is not the only thing that you should consider in the first place, right? You should look at other things. What is your age? What are your liquidity needs? Are you a family of 4, right? Do you need to pay school fees? Do you need to do this? What are your obligations? Do you have dollar obligations, right? So there are many things you need to look at and not just zeroing on return on investment. Because a lot of time when we just focus on, return on investment, we fall into the hands of scammers because we just say, oh, we'll double your money 4 times, we'll pay you 120%. A lot of the times when it sounds too good to be true, definitely is not true, right? And so we need to look beyond just return on investment. When you look beyond return on investment, you find out that you're actually looking at safety of my capital. Would that money come back if I put the money in this investment? Would it come back? Because I'm saving also for precautionary, requirements, needs. If I put my money in this 100% scheme, am I going to see it back? When I need the money, am I going to see it back? So I think it's not just, we shouldn't just look at return. As much as return on investment is good, we should also look at safety of our funds, right? There are other things to consider. Age. Some people, because of your beliefs, you cannot even invest in some things, right? You want to look at your cash requirements. I will need money every quarter. There's some things I probably will not be able to put my money in. So there are many other factors that come into it beyond just looking at ROI, just looking at return on investments.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I think that's very insightful. So like you said, aside just, ROI, think about your investment goals, think about your risk profile as well. Think about, your age. So where are you in your life plan? Because as that would also affect, what you decide to invest in. Thanks for that. Okay, so if you come over to Ayodele, so almost everyone, in Nigeria knows someone that lost, their money during the stock market crash in 2008, and so that has caused like this irrational fear, of the stock market. Like even sometimes you see on Twitter, it's like, oh, everywhere is red, everywhere is too, all that kind of stuff. And people are like, this stock market, I beg, let me just stay far away, right? But we also know that the stock market like is also like a great way to transfer wealth, from companies to shareholders. So in your opinion, how would you advise people that are afraid of investing, in stocks? How would you advise them, like how would you bolster their confidence, to invest in stocks? Also in Nigeria as well, just considering that, how Nigeria is going and all that stuff. So what advice would you give to someone that wants to invest, but then they're not very sure just because of, the macroeconomic situations? Hi, you're muted. Yeah, thank you.
So what I would say, if I understand your question, is what advice would I give to people that want to invest in stocks, right? Particularly in light of what they have seen across the markets over. The truth is, markets occur in cycles. We've seen busts, we've seen booms. We will definitely see more busts and more booms, right? That's the first thing. To protect yourself, the first thing you want to do is not to put all your eggs in one basket. And in that bid of not putting it in one basket, if you start with the equities market, Nigeria, for example, you would not have a savings of $1 million and put it all in one stock. Because the truth is, the returns you are anticipating, it's future returns. It's not guaranteed. It might not come. So instead of putting it all in one, why don't you increase the number of securities you're putting it in? The reason there is that if one doesn't perform well, chances are the other would. Now, in the same mindset of trying to protect yourself, you can also look at opportunities of going beyond the Nigerian stock market. So again, in your bid to diversify and not put all your eggs in one basket, why don't you also look at opportunities of buying foreign securities? Why don't you look at opportunities of buying fixed income instruments? Why don't you look at opportunities in real estate? So the idea there is that yes, investing, there's an approach to it. Yes, stocks are the typical go-to, but in even going to those stocks. So if you look at the example I gave, which is one of the things Stroke is able to help you do, is to say, okay, why don't I begin to invest in foreign securities? That does two things. Not only does it help you diversify your portfolio, it also helps you diversify currency. So all of a sudden, you begin to have foreign currency exposures. We all have an idea of how the current Nigerian currency is doing today. Why wouldn't we want to take exposures in foreign currency? That's also a way of diversifying. So the idea is you diversify across asset classes, you diversify across currencies as much as possible. And the more diversified you are, the less likely you would make losses in the long run. So I hope that helps anybody along the way.
Yes, yeah, I mean, I think that was helpful. Are they doing, as well? So what advice, do you have to anyone as well, who is a bit hesitant about investing in the stock market? How would you, increase their confidence?
All right. For me, I would say market cycles are opportunity. They present opportunities for investors. Because if market is stable, just imagine buying probably Zenith at 10 naira and it remains at 10 naira for, let's say, 5-10 years. There's no opportunity there. So market cycles prevent opportunities just for the investors to understand the reason for the volatility and come in when it's the right time. It's good to buy the dip. Buy when the stock prices are low. I'll give a practical example. When COVID-19 happened and slightly before the lockdown, in March 2020, Zenith Bank, that's Nigerian stock, traded as low as 10 naira 70 kobo. Learned investors that knew that this is just reflex from this COVID-19 news, they keyed into it and they brought. In the space of 6 months, this particular stock went as high as 15 naira. And so imagine if that volatility is not there, there's no opportunity to buy. Same thing for GT, even MTN. I can see people dropping comments in the comment chat that they didn't buy a lot of MTN. MTN came to the stock market at 90 naira in 2019. And we know what is currently trading at 214. In December, the public offer was at 169. And imagine between December and now, just 4 months, there's capital appreciation. They paid dividend of 8 naira 57 kobo per share just last week. So there's always opportunity in the market. And just like Kelly said at the beginning of the session, you just have to understand the market, do your research and know the companies to invest in so that you can take advantage of this volatility. There's money, there's business, there's money to be made in investing. It's just for you to know your onions. And if in doubt, ask a professional and you'll be glad you did.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Okay, so if you move over to Babajide, what role do you think that technology is playing to democratize access to investing for young people in Nigeria and even Africa as a whole?
I believe I think the role of technology is very clear for us all to see, and digital technology generally as sort of, like you put, democratized that access. And that's why we have applications like Trove. I would imagine the process that would have been in place 20 years ago when the older guys needed to invest in foreign markets. I can't even imagine the structure that existed then. But today with you just download an application, with 2, 3, 4 steps, you're already investing in foreign markets without you bothering about all the back-end processes. So technology, digital technology would and will keep driving that access. I think what is required and what is needed is that for organizations like Trove and the upcoming one, they need to keep educating prospective consumers because the challenge with technology also is that it is easy to proliferate, so you would have people that want to game the system, people that are not trustworthy, also come up with their own technology and try to sell, scam, and package some unhealthy concept around investing. So technology is here to stay. Digital technology, these applications will keep driving people towards being able to invest because of the access. But we also still have that responsibility to ensure that technology is not abused to defraud prospective individuals who actually have candid interest in investing. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for that. Just still on that question. So Victor, in your opinion, as well, do you think that, with technology now, it kind of like improves access to these financial markets that people, in the past did not have? Like, for instance, with very small amount of money now, you can start investing in the stock market. So do you think that tech is actually, bringing more people into the financial system and, giving them access to the capital markets?
Yeah, thank you. It's a double-edged sword. People are right now. You see what's happening in the U.S. market. It's bloody. So if somebody entered in January and made all the losses that have been made now, what the person is going to start telling other people is a different thing. So, yes, access is very, very important. But more importantly is education. Okay, there are 2 different ways to invest in the stock market. For instance, okay, you can do it through an asset manager, or you do it by yourself. Okay, now doing it by yourself without knowing what you are doing is very, very risky. And a lot of the apps that have come now are for people who ideally know what they are doing. But I'm seeing a lot of people that do not know what they are doing, okay, using these apps. So if you want to speculate, please don't use tech to speculate. If you want to invest and you know what you're doing, then that's a different ballgame. Our parents in the past used to invest in groups. People don't forget that that kind of thing used to happen. There are a lot of cooperatives that invested on behalf of their members. I don't see a lot of that happening, and I believe maybe that a lot more of that should happen. There are people I know who have made a lot of money in both local and public markets that invested as a group. I think about 2,000 professionals who came together. So it's even now a company. So I think more of that should happen, because that actually reduces the risk of making blunders all by yourself. That's my view. Technology is good, but it should be used more for education than just access. So I think lots of companies. It's good that Trove is doing this now, and this is a brilliant first step. But more of this should be done.
Thank you for that. And Bisola, so just same question as well, as a retail, investor, as someone that, that was not initially, in the financial industry, to you, do you feel like, this, the new wave of investment and saving app has actually kind of like led to, more people that are not, in the industry participating now in the financial markets? Do you think that, that tech has enabled that? You're muted.
I'm sorry, please, Chidima, can you take it again? I'm at work, so I'm trying to juggle in between the two. So please, can you take that question again? I don't look like this on a normal day. This is just work.
No worries at all. No worries at all. Yes. So I was saying that, with the new wave of investment and savings app, lots of people that would normally not invest in the stock market, now have access, to the market. So I'm saying to you, as someone who is not in the finance industry, do you think that, that this is like a good thing? Like, do you feel like the rise of these apps has, actually helps to bring more people into the financial market?
Definitely. I think that even social media, you find I see a lot of pages that pop up with different things saying, oh, you should buy this stock, you should buy that stock. So I think with tech has made it easier for us to understand, for those like me that don't really know much about the stock market and just see it as some fearful thing, like, oh no, I don't think this is for me. Tech has really made it easy for us. There's so many apps. I think I have aside Strobe, I think I have maybe like 2 or 3 others that here and there just spreading your tentacles here and there. So tech has definitely done a good thing for us. And yeah, it's a good thing. It's really good.
Awesome. Thanks for that perspective as well. Okay, great. So if you go back to, Ayodele, how would you advise? So let's say there's someone here, in the audience who wants to invest, but, they don't know how to allocate their money across their portfolio. How would you advise them?
There's a rule of thumb. I mean, I'll start with the broad asset classes. Typically, we're talking about stocks, bonds, and money market. Now, you need some cash because you don't want to lock up all your money. I think someone has spoken earlier on about liquidity. So you can put 10-20% of that in cash. Put a 30 to 40% in either of your stock and another percentage in the bond as well. Now, that is diversifying across asset classes. But I keep going back to the need to diversify across currencies, across money. Looking at the chart, there's a lot of talk about volatility. We speak only about volatility of securities. We've not spoken so much or looked enough at volatility of currencies. So even as you diversify across asset classes, and then within the securities, ordinarily, investment managers would also advise you that in your equities portfolio, typically have up to 15 to 18 stocks at the very least. That is a level of sufficient diversification in public markets, in public equities, okay? So think about that diversification within a market, that is across industries. Because what would affect the bank? A bank would affect the whole industry. So you're investing, diversifying across industries, diversifying across asset classes, and diversifying across securities. So I think that would be the starting point. That if you ask me for any investor, do not put all of your eggs in one basket. I think that is just a back of the envelope approach to diversifying. And like I said, if you speak to the professional investment managers, I think we have a number of them here, they would help you with achieving that. So I think they're not happy because I'm sharing the secrets. But essentially, that's what it is.
Yeah. Thanks for that. And so if we ask you as well, Elile, what do you think as well? So how should a newbie investor, how should they think about allocating their money across their portfolio? What framework would you advise investors?
Well, it's tough to just give you one straight jacket framework, right? Because I said there are many things you consider when you're trying to invest, right? So there's really no one shoe that fits everybody, because you need to just think about, like I mentioned, liquidity. Someone may need funds every 30 days. Somebody else may need funds every quarter, or someone may not need funds, in the next 5 years. But age plays a key role, right? If you're young, you can take more risk. You can invest in growth stocks. You can invest in stocks that, startups. You can invest in stocks that are 1-5 year. If you're much older, you're looking for stable income, you're already paying school fees, right? And so you want to put your money in more matured companies. You're investing in the US, you want to put your money in the likes of Microsoft, right? Where you can actually predict their earnings. You already probably know the kind of dividends they pay. And you can actually just plan your life. But if you're younger and you can take more risk, there are people that can do, I'll take 60 to 70% more risky assets because I feel I'm younger, I'm in my 20s. I can take that risk now. Maybe I'm much older. I cannot put my money in such risky assets because whether I like it or not, I want to explain to the school that, I'm still waiting, my money hasn't come back. I need to pay school fees, right? So it depends on the person, depends on each person's the things you need to consider. And like I mentioned to you, age, some people, even religion, because of your beliefs, you can't put your money in some certain things. Some people will say, I won't buy stocks that do, that sell beer or alcoholic drinks, right? I rather do this. So people's preferences have a large role to play when you are trying to invest or build a portfolio that fits them. I think what I will advise people to do is, I know that another question someone can say is when you don't have a lot of money, how far can you diversify, right? How do you want to break 100,000 naira? Right? I think the most important thing, first of all, is to even start. As you begin to build your portfolio, engage the services of an investment advisor. I'd mentioned to you research. We spend too much time making this money, working hard making this money. We need to also find a way to, put in some time in trying to make this money work for us. So we need to just try as much as possible to read up things ourselves. And when it's getting too complicated, and I must say that for us, that work in this space, a lot of the time, we know that even research that we bring out sometimes might be too complicated. Engage the services of an investment advisor. It's your money. Ask them, what does this mean? What does that mean? Okay, am I going to get my money back? Is my principal going to be eroded? If I'm putting 100,000 naira, it's 100,000 naira coming back, firm. I'm looking for a stock that can give me, and there are stocks on the I tell you, for example, on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, year in, year out for the last about 10 years, Zenith Bank has given dividends in double-digit dividends. So even if you only put your money in just buying Zenith Bank shares, for example, you would earn dividends that are in double-digit return, right? Now, just even taking capital appreciation away, you will earn double-digit return. So there are many companies like that, but you need to stay close to your investment advisor. You need to also try as much as possible to do some research yourself, right? And if you cannot, there are mutual funds, there are exchange traded funds that you can actually put your money in to do that for you.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Adedoyin, so just through your work, as well at AfroInvest Securities, people always, when it comes to investing in stock, people always talk about, should I trade stocks or should I, invest for the long term? And I feel like there's some form of some gray areas there, where it's not very clear what are the differences between both. So, in your opinion, what's the difference between, investing in stocks and, trading stocks?
Okay, if I'm clear about your question, you just want me to clarify the difference between savings and investing in stocks, right?
No, I said trading, stock trading and investing. Trading, yes.
And investing in general, investing in stock.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so savings is just putting money aside. If you're saying savings, putting money.
No. I said trading. Can you hear me clearly? Trading in stock, yes. Like trading, yes, and okay. Investing, for the long term, like holding, for the long term, and day-to-day trading. Okay. That's what I'm asking.
Okay, so when it comes to stock market, there are some people that buy and sell. You can buy same day and sell the same day. That's trading. Some people look for opportunities, come into the market at, let's say, at the beginning of the market, MTN is trading at 200 naira, they buy, and before the close of market, they see some capital appreciation and they decide to exit and sell. That's trading is for short-term investors. So you're just there for the market opportunity. While investment is for long-term investors. You put in your money, you're looking at capital appreciation in the long term, and you're also looking at dividend expectations. Just like Lily said, there are some stocks that give dividend. And what we mean when we are saying dividend yield of double GD, that's like 10% and above. And that's like your return on investment. So if you've bought Zenith Bank and they're giving you 10%, so for instance, if you've kept 100,000 in Zenith Bank, at the end of the day, they're paying 10%. That means you're getting 10,000 naira as dividend. Your capital is still there, and there might be capital appreciation. Your 100,000 might have increased to 150 or 200. So investing is basically going long term, while trading is just looking for market opportunities. And most people, they trade on penny stocks. Penny stocks are stocks that are, the prices are a bit low. They are the ones that can probably move in trickles, like move fast. And for long-term investing, people look at the fundamentals of the company. Those are the ones that pay dividends, and there's likely to be capital appreciation.
Awesome. Thanks for that clarification. Thank you for that. Okay, so if you move over to Babajide, so in your opinion, because aside just also investing, because a company like Trove has lots of retail investors who are sometimes even like first timers or newbies in the stock market. In your opinion, so what role do you think the investment industry should play in terms of educating investors on best practices, just to put it that way?
Thanks a lot. And I think I'll lean on what Mr. Victor had mentioned, which talks about education. I think Elele too also sort of touched on it. I think investment houses or players in the investment space must spend some time providing digestible information. So most of the reports and information that come out now, I've seen a couple of my techies, that just come to me to Mr. GD, I'm looking at this report and review. I don't understand what they're saying. Do you get? So what that means is that for the investment company, and asset management company, stockbroking company, and just like what Trove is doing now, the reports must be broken down to basic English. It must be broken down to consumable knowledge that someone that is not a core finance person can have an idea about. So that is one of the best approaches, push the knowledge, but push it in a very simple form, so that individuals that don't have CFA or are not chartered accountants can easily analyze the details, but most importantly also, and this is what I also say to retail investors, that you may not have the entire time to understand how the dynamics of investing in the stock exchange, primary private market. Please talk to a professional. And I always tell them jokingly that I'm sure one of the reasons why the finance houses write these reports in a very complex way, is because they want you to eventually come to them. So please, that's usually my advice for retail investors, that so that they don't buy, we used to joke, shares without table. They buy proper shares, and they should talk to professionals. And I'm also pleading on behalf of several of those kind of guys, especially the techies, that investment houses should also try to, break the grammar down, so that it's like investment for dummies. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Investment for dummies. I think that's the most accurate way to say it. And Victor, I mean, to you as well, as a person of influence, and people look up to you. What role do you think the investment industry should play in ensuring that people are also educated, and also like what role do you play as well in ensuring that people that follow you and that look up to you for advice making the right decision when it comes to investing?
Thank you very much, Chidima. Babajide, I was going to say, if anything for dummies, we call Africans dummies. I don't think they want to accept that too. So for dummies books, work outside Africa, but they don't sell here. Anyway, seriously, the first for me, I share a whole lot of stuff about what I do on Twitter, and if anybody follows me, they'll see all what I've shared. And I've made mistakes. I admit my mistakes. A lot of the things that people don't do is admit the mistakes that they've made. And I think that the best education is usually done in communities. If you look at, I was fortunate to see some data about where people invest in the stock market most by region in Nigeria. And I saw that most of the investments were coming from a very, very surprising place, from Anambra State, and specifically Onitsha. So why do traders trade more, invest more than others? Because they have very, very close-knit communities and they talk to each other. So, and they are also in the business of making money. So they just see it as another, the stock market, just like buying another commodity. So, I think that communities are very, 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 very important. And that's something that a lot of companies who are in the space do not take seriously. I stress it again, cooperatives, very, very important. If you look at people who have student ambassadorships, they are very, very brutally effective. So why don't you also have market ambassadorships? I've done work with telcos for 20 years in my life. They've been brutally effective at doing what they do because they go down to the grassroots, to the community level. And if you look at Econet, where we invested when we started initially, we did education in the papers. We did all of that prior to launching. Then after launching, it's, people like MTN, even went further by looking at people who are in the communities to actually help educate the communities, further. Before they even launch any product, they do what they call a market storm. They go out there to actually educate the communities directly. And I think we don't do enough of that, when it comes to investments and investing. So more of that should be done. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Yes, very comprehensive, and I agree totally. Thank you for that. Okay. So if we move back to Bisola, are you here? Is she here? Let's see. Hi, Bisola. She's muted. Okay, I think she probably stepped up. Okay, awesome.
Forgive me, guys. I am
no worries. We understand.
I informed Benedict of this before this session.
Worries. Yeah,
Yes,
we're actually coming to the end. Yes. So I wanted to ask you. So as a spokesman for young people in this panel, at least, how do you think? What do you think we need to do to get more young people, to become more interested in saving and planning for their financial future? Because everyone now is singing, if I broke my business, whatever, live to the, but there's also the need for that planning as well. So how do you advise young people, to also focus on their financial future?
They can start with whatever it is they have now. Personally, I started 2 years ago for my daughter. I started buying stock for her, and that's because I have the knowledge now. So even when she's gifted cash, I don't spend it. I save it up for her, and then I buy stock with it for her. So it could be from gifts. I don't know who mentioned it. I don't know if it was Adedoyi that mentioned it earlier, that even if you get gifts from people, you should always try to, save it. And I think that platforms like Trove should create more content, fun content, because in these times that we're in, our attention span is sort of short. You can get a message or see something today, and by tomorrow, it just feels like you got that message eons ago. So content is king now. And I think the kind of content that we roll out, say for instance, Trove rolls out, is short, sweet, that just teaches us little tidbits on how you can save more. If you're gifted 10,000 naira, 1,000 naira could go into saving this or investing in this or that. So I think young people should not see it as something you have to wait until, oh, I am financially stable. You never know whether that financial stability would come. And you never know if it's that investment that you started with at your lowest point or your youngest point that's going to take you to that financial stability that you've always been looking for. So nothing is too small. You're not too young to start. And if you haven't started yet, it's not too late. You know, you could start saving for retirement, you know, so it's something that, you know, you keep learning as time goes on. It's good. You would enjoy it in the long run. So don't be scared. Let's make use of the times that we're in now. Tro should just roll out some lovely content that will make all the youngins feel like, oh, investing is cool.
I'm missing something, yeah.
Yeah, I want to be part of this new school of cool kids that are investing. So yes, I think that's what we should do. Yeah.
Awesome. And so like in your investing journey so far, what is the biggest mistake that you've made? Yeah.
I would say the biggest mistake I made was not listening to my financial advisor. So she told me on a certain day and told us on a certain day, buy these stocks. This is the amount you buy, ASAP, ASAP, ASAP. And I kid you not, it was literally 3 weeks after these women were just coming up with screenshots of, hey, this is how much I made, hey, this. And there I was like this, what did I use this money to do? Why didn't I listen at this point in time? Because as much as she tries to advise me at times, she also tells me, Bisola, you should learn to start going with your gut feeling. I won't always be there, all right? I'm teaching you, I know that you're grasping, but also learn to go with your gut feeling sometimes. And in that particular day, I was like, no, and I think I got distracted. So that's one of my biggest mistakes. I wish I could take it back. Those ladies made quite a lot. I'm talking maybe for one woman, it was 1,000%. For one woman, it was 1,000%. And I was like, why me? Why did I listen? So yes, that's my biggest mistake. Yeah. So
yeah. We live and we learn. So
yes,
hopefully there's another chance again for that. Okay. Awesome. And you know, since you've been using Trove, you know, for your stock, you know, investing, how has that journey been for you? You know, what do you think about, you know, about the platform, you know? No holds barred.
I like the new interface. It's a lot easier. The old one as well was easier, but I feel like now I navigate it a lot better. So I like it. I'm sure I'm guessing that, and I'm always getting notifications. So I think I've not gotten any notification today, not yet today, but it just tells me, oh, which stocks are down. Sometimes I'll should I buy this particular stock? It did good some time ago. Now that it's lower than the initial price I bought it, should I buy some more? So I like the notifications that it always gives. I like the new interface. It's friendlier than the previous one. And yeah, I'm hoping to do more great stuff with Trove.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Okay, great. So I think we're coming to the end, and we'll still, you know, take Q&A from the audience. But I just want to ask, all the panelists, you know, and maybe we can just start with you, you know, since you're still on. What is your favorite money quote, and you know, what does it mean so much to you?
Okay, so funny thing, it's something I actually saw on Instagram. I don't know if any other person has seen it, but it's more like an affirmation for me as well. So it goes like this. I'm sure many of us have seen it. Money comes to me easily.
Money comes to
me fast. Money loves my company. When money comes, it lasts. Now, you see that lasting is the key thing. So, and to be honest, so far money has been lasting in my hand. I like food a lot, and I've been spending so much. I used to spend a lot of money on food. Food is what you guys used to take me. But you know, I've been able to curb myself a little bit. I know that, you know what, Bisola, instead of going to a restaurant, because now everything is so expensive, I find that if I'm going to a restaurant to have a good meal, I'm spending nothing less than 35,000 naira for cocktail and just a good meal. So instead of spending all of that on just food that you know that may not even come out sweet, why not invest it? So yes, that's my favorite quote for now. It might change tomorrow, but yeah, especially that last one. When money comes to me, it lasts. That's what everyone wants.
Love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay. So on to you, Victor. What is your favorite money quote, and why does it mean, you know, so much to you?
Thank you very much. I have a more recent favorite one, which is by Elon Musk. he said something recently that okay, you should invest in companies that build what you believe in. So and that's actually very, very true. I didn't realize that I was actually even doing that unconsciously. But my best is from my friend Ovi. In Pidgin English, deal's not the finish, good deal's not the finish. So, you know, and in Pidgin English, I think they have one, better thing not the finish for market. So don't be in a hurry. So better thing not the finish for market. That's probably my best quote, money quote.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Adedoyin, how about you?
Okay, thanks. Mine at the moment is similar to what Bisola said. Like when money comes, the last is use your money to buy financial freedom, because everybody wants to be free. You don't like to be caged. So when you have money now, use it to secure your your future. That's the financial freedom. So you won't be asking for urgent 2K in future. So whatever you have now, use it to secure. Chidima, did you hear me? Yeah, I said, should I recap?
Yes, please go on. I think you broke off a bit, but but I think we heard you, but please go on.
I said the best thing money can buy now is financial freedom. So use your money now to buy yourself financial freedom in future so that you won't be asking people for urgent 2K. Secure your future now so that when money comes to you, it will last, like Bisola said.
Awesome. Love it. Secure your future and your bag as well. Awesome. Ayodele, over to you.
Okay. Right now, my favorite quote is money is smart. It goes to where it's best rewarded. So, and that comes to play if you're an entrepreneur, you're trying to raise money, and even as an individual, you're trying to save. We're saying that when you, and reward of money is in returns on investments. So I'm saying you can only attract money if you treat it appropriately, and you're sure you're going to reward it appropriately.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Elile?
I don't have a favorite money quote, but I just know that money is very important, right? Whether we like it or not, if we knew how important money would be, I'm sure that we would have started very early with, investing our money. They say money answers all things, right? Money is just very important. So if we know how important it is, I'm sure I probably would have started right on from when I started earning money. But I don't have a favorite quote, but I do know that money is actually very critical.
Awesome. I agree with you on that. Okay. I think Baba Jide.
Yes. So I have a very funny, quote about money that I found very interesting. And it's a bit sarcastic. And people say money doesn't give you happiness. Then the question is, does poverty give you happiness either? So I'm fully aligned with what Elele said to say. Money is very important, and in as much as we say money doesn't give us happiness, poverty too doesn't give us happiness either. So we should choose money. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And, thanks everyone. This has been such an amazing session. So now we'll just move over quickly to our Q&A. We have over 100 questions here, so we definitely cannot answer all of them. But we'll pick, some and then just, ask and, hopefully others that have questions can also ask on the Telegram channel as well, where the Trove team would definitely answer your question. Awesome, great. So first question, someone says here that for a beginner, would you advise that we invest in Nigerian stocks or foreign stocks? Which would you consider is more stable and promising? The patriot in me is saying, but anyway, so who do we, okay, let's say Elile, do you want to?
I think that the best way I would first of all say is diversify across asset classes, diversify across currencies, right? So you want to put some in Naira, you want to put some also in, expose US assets, right? Have exposure to US assets because we already know what devaluation, what, the currency is doing. So I won't pick one over the other, right? They're both same asset classes. The only reason why we probably want to look at US assets also is to be able to edge against that devaluation risk. So I won't pick one above the other. I would just say, again, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify across asset classes, diversify across currencies, naira, dollars, right? So that you have a good hedge for your portfolio.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Someone said, can the panel please clarify what makes up the private market? I think that is for Victor. You want to understand what you mean by private markets?
Okay. I think it's very, very simple. You have the stock market where companies go to list, and there are listing requirements that they must fulfill before they list, and it's open to the public for the public to buy their shares. That's the public market. The private market, places where companies that are private, that are not listed on the stock exchange, offer their equity to private investors to invest. And I think people like FMDQ is doing something, doing a lot in the private market space. Private investors go there. You also have angel investors who invest in startups too as well. That's also part of the private market. So you also have people who gather their money in groups and also invest in those companies. That's also part of the private market. So that, I hope that's clear. I hope I've made that clear. Those are private markets, and those private markets are different from the public markets. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that. It is clear. Over to you, Adedoyin. So someone is asking that why should we invest rather than save money? So what would you tell that person?
Okay, I would say for investing, you grow your money. Savings, your money might just be there without any return on investment. So it's just advisable to grow your money, because compound interest is what makes you more money. So it's better to invest than saving.
Okay, thank you for that. We have a question here. The person said, can someone throw more light about investing with NASD OTC? Ayodele, do you want to take that?
NASD OTC is where you have non-publicly traded, non-listed companies, as you would have on the NGX, on NGX. So for NASD, you have companies that are haven't gone, they're public, but they're not listed. So in investing there, yes, you can have access to price transparency, but again, as an early investor, and I think Victor spoke to that as well, you can get good returns on this sort of securities, but bear in mind that unlike listed securities, you might not have as much liquidity in those securities. So if and when you need your funds, you might not be able to easily get it. It's not impossible, but it's the liquidity that is the difference for that in that space.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that. Babajide, over to you. So someone's asking that what are some good sources of information on the stock market? So someone that wants to get info on stock markets, where should they go to?
Because I want to avoid advertising, I've not been paid to advertise. I want to avoid the advertising, platform. So what I would tell such a person to do is, please, Google is your friend. You should typically have either a sentence, a theme, a topic that you would like to have more light on, then put it on Google and keep exploring till it takes you to the classes of information that you would want. But I would say again, and I'm saying this repeatedly, we have tons of organizations that have employed the required skills. Turn to them if you need information. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Okay, awesome. Alile, so someone is asking, he says that, as a 36-year-old single guy with 500,000 naira to invest, where would you advise him to invest his money?
500,000 naira to invest. When does he need the cash, right? Is the 500,000 naira going to be set aside long term? He doesn't need to touch it. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I'm just saying that there are many things I need to ask him. 500,000 naira, does he need the money by, end of the year, or does he need the? There are just many other questions I need to ask him before I say, put your money in stocks, for example. Stocks is a long-term investment, right? So if you need the money by the end of the year, I won't say put your money in stocks, right? Unless you are being a speculative trader. But again, if you've not done your research or you don't have that kind of understanding, why are you speculating? So you can fix your money. There are different options. But if you're a beginner and you don't know a lot, right? One of the very easiest ways to do what we call passive investing, where you can put money in mutual funds, exchange traded funds, right? If you really want to expose yourself to US assets, you can start to buy exchange traded funds, right? And just invest in mutual funds. So when you are able to save up, or when you think you have enough time and enough experience to now go into active investing. But before I can advise him, there are a lot more questions. Typically, if you visit an investment advisor, who typically will fill a questionnaire, they will engage you, ask you, what are your requirements? What's your objective, first of all? Why are you investing this money? Are you investing because you want to build a house? Are you investing because your children are going to school next year? And so the time horizon is next year, for example. So it means whatever investment option we're providing to you has to be something that will expire by next year, right? So there are many questions I ask. I just can't answer, tell you 500,000 and I just go buy stocks. There are many other questions that I need to ask you.
Yeah, valid. Okay, thank you for that. Adedoyin, so someone is asking, the person said that, what is the best kind of stocks to invest in a bear market?
Okay, similar to it depends on your belief. There's no one size fits all. So there are some people that would not invest in certain stocks because of their belief or their investment horizon. So it all depends on you and what you're looking at. There are some people that like penny stocks. There are some that like fundamentally sound stocks. So just like what Elili said, investment is not one size fits all. You need to sit down with your financial advisor to really understand your investment objectives before they can guide you appropriately. Because getting recommendation, or if I say any stock now, it might not suit your own investment purpose, or someone else on the call might just run with the information, and eventually they'll come and say it's on Trove webinar, they advised us to buy this. So this is not, investment recommendation is not given this way. But I'm sure you can reach out privately to your financial advisor after the call, sit down, and I'm sure they'll be able to guide you.
Okay, thanks for that. David, do you have anything to add, to add to that? For someone that wants to, invest, in a bear market, what stocks, should they go for?
No, I think Adedoyin has been quite explicit in that, because when you have a bearish market, it's like trying to catch a falling knife. You do not know if it's bottomed out or not. So it's difficult to navigate that sort of terrain. And I would say, like she advised, it's important at that point to speak to a professional investment advisor. And to be honest, at times, it's a good investment strategy to be in cash. It's not every time you must be investing. At times, it's good to be in cash, okay?
Sure, very valid. Thank you so much. We have one more question for Bisola. Bisola, so someone is asking that, a lot of people follow you on social media. That can you, give them, investment tips with no disclaimer? She back. Let's just give her a few seconds and see if she's okay. Yes, awesome. Yes.
Sorry, that was my little assistant at work.
Yes.
I dropped that actually.
Oh wow.
Yes. So Chidima, can we take that again, please?
Sure. So yes, so they said that, like they follow you on social media, they love you and all that. So that, can you give them some real advice, on investing? So investment tips, no disclaimer, give them like some real, advice.
Okay, real advice, no money is too small. You might be looking, so I buy foreign stock, and I know that the exchange rate is, you understand, by the time you're doing that switch from Naira to dollar, it choke, literally. But when you think about what happens when dollar gets to 1,000 Naira, you know how much you made, right? Say for instance, you're buying it at 575. I'm just using that for context. So it may seem as though it's too much, that you shouldn't do it. To be honest, it's mostly foreign stock I buy. Please don't tell anybody, I beg. They say that we should be patriotic, but when you think ahead of how much, just in case, you'll be using that one. And it's my financial advisor that told me I should be doing like that. Thanks so much. So don't be scared. Don't be scared. It could just be as little as, I have some stuff that's little as maybe $5. It may seem as though it's nothing, but it's a lot. And if you just like tiny pockets here and there, I always, this saying, tiny drops of water make a mighty ocean. You never know. This is how you're making your mighty ocean. Learn. Keep learning. You can never know too much. Personally, me, there's so much I consume. There's work, there's parenting, there's dealing with the showbiz and how we have to look good and all of that. But I don't stop learning, I don't take any little advice I hear about stock and investing for granted. It's good to read a lot and understand it, and ask. If you don't understand something, find a professional, always ask. The Trove guys are always there. I know that when I had issues with my app one time, they were really, really fast to attend to me. So if you have any complaints, bam, it's really, they're really fast to, attend to you. So no knowledge is lost. No knowledge is lost. Don't be scared. Take that leap of faith. You might lose some, but you definitely would win some. As with anything in life, there are major risks. Us even being here today, it's a risk we are taking. Like me now, I'm juggling between this panel and being on set, and I'm literally running back there. It's not a guarantee. I can fall down and break my head, so it's a risk, it's a risk I think that everyone should not be afraid to take, because at the end of the day, you smile and be happy that you did. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. This person was also saying that, can you be dropping some investment tips on social media as well for your followers? I guess people, do not know that you're an investor. So they're like, please show us that side of you as well. So
okay, so what I would do is I would ask my friend, because I pay for a service, all right? It's not free. It's not free at all. And, we also have to empower each other. As much as Ibuko is my friend, she also, needs to make money by teaching us how to invest and learn about this. So I will take permission first. Sweetheart, is it possible I can drop a tip or two for my followers for free? So until she gives me permission to do that, because this is me taking the knowledge that she has given me. But when she does, definitely I will drop a few on there for my followers.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we have just a few rapid fire questions. So since you're already here, how many books have you read this year?
Okay. The one that I'm still reading now is The Artist's Way, but I've read about 8 scripts. I will call them books too.
These scripts are books.
They are books. In my opinion, they are books. Some are as much as 200 pages. So they are books.
Fair enough.
But I'm currently reading The Artist's Way, and it's really helping my life as a creative.
Awesome. And
yes, that is 9. That would be 9. Yeah.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how cool are you?
79. Yeah.
Wow, no problem. Okay, so tell us something cringy about you.
Something cringy about me?
Yes.
My fart really stinks. Sorry.
Wow. Too much information. When you're not being, Bisola and acting and just being fabulous, tell us something surprising thing that you like to do.
Surprising? I wouldn't call it surprising.
That we don't know about you, I guess. Aside
I don't know if anyone knows. I love to cook. I cook. I'm mean in the kitchen. Every time I enter the kitchen, my mother is always happy. She'll. So yeah, I cook really good. And everyone who's tasted my meals, like, Bisola, this is nice. I'm like, hey, will you pay for it? No. So,
awesome,
yeah.
awesome. Thank you for that. Final question, and we'll let you go. If you could advise your younger self, what would you tell yourself 20, 30 years ago, about life, finances, and career?
If I could advise myself, I would say, don't let your mommy take all the money that people have been dashing you. You're not too young to invest.
Are you doing the same for our peer?
Come, honey. Come.
Let her confirm.
What do I do with your money? So I never, okay, you can go now, it's not your problem. So I was really advised to my younger self, if 20, 30 years ago, is don't let mommy take all of the cash and lie to you that, hey, that's what she's doing to feed you. No. If I had the chance or my mother had the knowledge to invest back in the day, I'm sure I would have been doing pretty good by now with all the monies that was, that was given to me. So yeah, I'll tell my younger self is that you're not too young to invest. Not too young to invest.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. Okay, great. Yes. So Victor, over to you. Rapid fire as well. How many books have you read this year?
Well, I had COVID, so I've had a break.
How's your relationship?
I've had a break for over a month. But normally, typically, I try to read at least 2 books a month. Yeah. So I'm actually going over the books I've read before. So I'm currently reading The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Again, this is like the third time or something. Yeah.
Oh wow! So is that like your favorite book?
No, it's there are I have many favorite books, but it's a book that because I'm trying to create a new fund. It's a book that speaks to what I'm doing now. So I like reading books that address what I'm trying to do at the moment.
Okay, awesome. If you could advise your younger self 20, 30 years ago, about life, career, and finances, what would that advice be?
Don't spend too much money on girls. Save it.
Girls are always collecting stray bullets. Wahala. Okay, thank you for that. Over to you, Lily. What would you advise, your younger self 20, 30 years ago about life, finances, and career?
Okay. I wish I could say that don't spend money on boys, but
maybe don't answer them.
I wish I could say that, right, to answer him. But I think that what I would say is about life is to be intentional. I think what I've learned about what so far I have learned is that this life, right? Time, how time flies just very fast. When I think about how many years ago did I start working or how many years ago I left school, right? You're just wondering where did all the time go to, right? So it's just about being intentional about life. Engage mentors, people that have done it, before, right? Mentors in every aspect of your life if you can. Parenting, finances, career, right? Just talk to people. Don't try to, reinvent the wheel. They're also selective as you talk to people, right? So you don't just talk to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. But I would say that, be intentional about life, be intentional about your finances. What I would tell myself, my 20 or, 20-something-year-old is be intentional, start early. Don't wait till you have all the money before you start. If what you would do with 50K is almost like what you would do with, 5 million, right? Just start. And it's just that science, just cultivating that habit, right? And I think that's what I would tell myself. Be intentional about it.
Thank you for that. Babajide, over to you. What would you tell your younger self 20, 30 years ago? What advice would you give them?
Don't spend all your money on Nkwobi and women. Just similar to what Mr. Victor said. And I would also say, but of course, that's on a lighter note. you should be much more deliberate, which aligns with what Ellie said. You should be extremely deliberate. For some of us, we're just living life as it came. We earned money, we spent it, until it dawned on us that we're actually not getting younger, and we had to change our path. So yes, that's it. Be very intentional with your life. I wish I was. Maybe I would have been the Nigerian president.
There's still time.
Thank you. That's what I'd like to know. Thanks.
Thank you for that. Adedoyin, what advice would you give your younger self?
I would say spend what you have after investing, not invest what you have after spending. So that's the advice I'll give my younger self, just to keep it brief.
Yeah, very salute. Thank you for that. Ayodele, over to you. Advice for your younger self.
My advice to my younger self, I think it's been spoken to you, it's live life. Live life. It's a journey and you'll be amazed how short it is. Just live life, enjoy your life. And of course, take risks. At the end of it all, hopefully it'll be worth it. Don't be too cautious. That's what I'd say.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I think, with this, we have come to the end of this very amazing session. Thank you to all the panelists, Elile, Adedoyin, Ayodele, Bisola, Victor, Babajide. Thank you so much, for coming through and sharing your wealth of experience. I'm sure that the people really enjoyed, hearing from such a diverse panel. So I think at this point, we're just going to hand this over, to the Trove team to do a vote of thanks, and we'll take it from there and allow you all to, enjoy your holiday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, so I think Tommy or Desire from the Trove team is supposed to will come up shortly. Here. Is anyone here?
Hi, Chidima.
Okay, awesome.
Someone else was supposed to do this. I don't know. I think he's having connectivity issues. But thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining the event. We hope you benefited from it. We hope it was very beneficial, to all of you here present. Please feel free to reach out anytime. We're available on social media. All of the speakers here too as well. The panelists are also available on social media too as well. I don't know whether they want you, invading their privacy, but I guess, social media is an open forum and they're very nice people and willing to help, as often as they can. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to join this. We hope you enjoyed the event as much as we enjoyed planning it for you. This is the first of many. Education is at the center of everything that we do, and we would continue, pushing with regards to keeping you all, informed, keeping you educated about, financial literacy in general, not just, stock investing. So thank you so much. Have a nice Eid. Once again, happy Eid again, like to all the Muslim friends on the call as well. Have a nice day and see you next time. And thanks to all the panelists. Thanks to all the panelists too. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Thank you, Chidima, too, as well, for a beautiful, for moderating this very amazing session too as well.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Happy holidays.